Everything that you had hoped for in the third stimulus package could suddenly be happening. Multiple stimulus checks? Yes. A change of FPUC higher? Yes. Modifications to put $2,000 on top of $1,400 as a stimulus check? The push is underway? Yes. And more across the board. What's happening? It's a new renewed spirit among Democrats that say, hey, when we get the bill in the Senate, we're not just rolling over and signing it and saying goodbye and God bless. We're making modifications. And if we want to go bigger and bolder than $1.9 trillion, we will do it. In this video, I show you the incredible, exciting news as Democrats in the Senate could ultimately have your big back that no one has had in the last few days and be pushing for bigger, more stimulus than the $1.9 trillion stimulus package has in it currently. This is incredibly exciting big news to start your Saturday afternoon on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LALATE. From Wall Street to Main Street, from my home to your home, thank you for joining the most comprehensive financial news channel there is on our afternoon schedule programming. It starts with this show, then shortly after this is Third Stimulus, in which I go over the third stimulus items more in depth than even after this recording. And then What the Chuck, in which I answer your incredible questions following that recording, and especially your questions about FPUC. And I'm bringing back enhanced unemployment benefits as well. Big money and how to get more money on unemployment than ever before. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Make sure you hit that alert button so you get an alert when a new video goes live. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. In this recording, I have a lot to go over, and one of the big things at issue is the renewed sentiment among senators that they may go bigger and bolder when they get the third stimulus package in their house. It's currently up for a vote in the House. I'll explain to you where it's going and when it's going. But these are the people that may ultimately have your big back to get you big stimulus like they did under second stimulus. All right, let's get to the breaking news. If you don't recall, in the second stimulus package, when it landed in the Senate, it did not have a series of things in it. Well, it was senators who ultimately got the big items of second stimulus in there for you. It was the pushing of certain senators who got you the stimulus check, the FPUC, the items that weren't actually working correctly until it got there. And this is the renewed excitement starting Saturday afternoon. The excitement starts with a senator by the name of Ron Wyden, Democrat out of Oregon. And he is unhappy with the way the bill is written. Why? Because FPUC is at $300 a week. And he says, no, it needs to be $600 a week. His ammunition for the argument is, one, that $300 a week is not supported by the current economic environment. And you know what that economic environment is. A week ago this Friday, 6,000 new jobs created in the United States in the month of January. That's total. 6,000 new jobs. It's deplorable. It's a horrible number. And then this last Thursday, the new jobless claims continue to grow, close to 800,000. This is the 40th week of jobless claims, way high, through the roof, since the pandemic started. Before the pandemic, we were about 200,000 claims per week. We went up to 1 million for 22-something weeks. Now we're in the 700 range. We're not improving. And he has new ammunition as well. A new Yale report says that $600 as FPUC does not discourage people from getting back to work. So it's not only a report that shows that $600 doesn't help or hurt people, in fact shows that it has no impact on people getting back to work or not. A Republican narrative has been saying, give too much FPUC, people won't go back to work. Untrue, says the new Yale report. So what is Ron Wyden's comments this week, last week, and potentially going into next week? The comments are the following. One, he's not going to support the bill because there's not $600 a week of FPUC in there. Number two, he doesn't support the bill because it has expiration dates in there. He says that as a stimulus package that concerns the economy, it should be tied to economic factors because we don't have time to continually do bills on this every 10 seconds. This is huge because you know how many times unemployment items or stimulus items have expired since March, since this pandemic started. And number three, he says that senators have every right to go big and bold on stimulus items when they get a stimulus package. My starting point here is going to be the legislation would reinstate the full $600 a week and tie additional weeks of benefits and the program for gig workers to economic conditions, meaning it would be $600 and it would not expire as currently slated for August. There's too much work to do, and the Senate cannot be revisiting economic relief every 2 to 3 months. And if you're a longtime viewer of this channel since April of last year, you know that they have continually allowed things to expire and then taken months to get them reinstated and then not paid you retroactively. This is a godsend. Then he says that there's more ammunition and more suggestion that the Yale report suggests that people are not staying at home because of $600 FPUC. In fact, they just want their job back. It's as simple as that. He also says that President Biden should know, since he served in the Senate, he knows all these issues are up for negotiation. This is huge because it then tees up the stimulus check. This stimulus check is now up for negotiations as well. And so while Wyden may be the one you want to tag on social media with this video as the followers of this channel, Purple Power, and push and support him to get FPUC at $600 a week under the third stimulus package, then there's Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren to tag for the stimulus check. And Ossoff and Warnock, they all collectively said, and Schumer as well, they all collectively said you were going to get $1,400 stimulus check from Trump to fix the second stimulus check in December of last year, and that Biden was going to give you a new $2,000 stimulus check. They specifically said a new $2,000 stimulus check and the Trump $1,400 stimulus check. What they're doing on the third stimulus package is taking ownership of Trump's $1,400 stimulus check and not giving their own $2,000 stimulus check. Ossoff and Warnock particularly ran on the promise of the $2,000 stimulus check. Then you want to specifically tag Elizabeth Warren because when it comes to adult dependents, who are generally seniors, they're getting the shaft. They were supposed to get $3,200. We were told this just weeks ago by everyone involved. Now they're not getting any of that. They're getting $1,400. Under the third stimulus package, everyone's check would be $1,400, whether you're a 2-year-old or an 80-year-old. And whether you're on benefits or not on benefits, that's not particularly as promised. And then there's other good news. The other good news is that by Wyden saying that everything's up for negotiations, that means that things like the EIDL grant that was supposed to be $10,000 on the third stimulus package and is $5,000 is up for negotiations as well. Tag Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, the senators out of Arizona, and also Cardin. Meantime, there's reports out this weekend that says Joe Biden is considering reconciliation twice more this year, but neither the occasions coming up will be about stimulus. Is that particularly a good message? Then there's a series of new reports this weekend as well from Democrats like John Yarmuth that says, and he's the House Budget Chair, that says he's concerned that the third stimulus package is reportedly going to be paid for by cutting other services, and those services may be Social Security. And then there's more. There's new concerns growing this weekend about whether or not people think that the student loan debt forgiveness, which is a standalone bill, will actually happen. It was introduced 2 weeks ago on a Friday as a standalone bill by Schumer, Warren, and Sanders. But a new report says that 56% of Americans, while they support it, 13% think it will never happen. Do they know something we don't know? The weekend started with the House Ways and Means Committee, Financial Services, Transportation, and Small Business subsections of the House finishing the third stimulus package. If you're a viewer on this channel, you're wondering, where is the SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits $200 a month, that's on top of your existing benefits. It's not in there, but it can go in there when it gets to the Senate. Again, this is why you need to tag Elizabeth Warren. She is your single most biggest advocate for this issue. You need to tag her to put it back in. The weekend started with late Friday's announcement that the Biden administration is urging for schools to reopen. Open, but not give the stimulus. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky had a press conference yesterday saying that the science now supports that we can reopen schools without vaccinations. This comes as Janet Yellen says the Treasury is appointing a new subsection not to deal with missing stimulus checks, but to deal with the climate change. And while McDonald's is fighting the chicken wars with Burger King with a new crispy chicken sandwich, people are wondering if that makes more sense or if this focusing on climate more often than stimulus is more confusing. But there's promising news coming out of Wall Street. Wall Street ended up slightly up for the week, relatively a flat, boring week, even though stocks like Tesla continue to take a hit, and stocks like Walmart continue to do relatively well this week. The new suggestions out of Wall Street is that maybe the stimulus package needs to go bigger and bolder. Earlier this week, Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve and chief economist in this country, met with the Economic Committee of New York, and he said, you know what, we need more stimulus. Stop being so stingy when it comes to stimulus. He was specifically asked about the new reports that show there's a lot of vaccinations, the vaccination rates are increasing and improving, and that across the board, certain parts of the U.S. economy are improving dramatically. He said that doesn't help. It doesn't impact my decisions. Ultimately, until I see broad stroke economic recovery across all sectors, I'm going for bigger stimulus. And that bigger stimulus could be the following. It should be a stimulus check of $1,400 plus $2,000. It should be an earned income tax credit for every individual. For example, in the third stimulus package, there is an earned income tax credit of $1,500. If you made less than $25,000 and you worked as an essential worker during the pandemic, but that $1,500 should be prepaid this year. Why? Because the child tax credit on the third stimulus package of multiple stimulus checks is being paid this year as well. Let me explain. There's multiple stimulus checks under the third stimulus package. It's $300 a month from July for 1 year for every child 6 years or younger. And if the child is 17 to age 6, that's a little bit less. This is for every child. Now, you may be excited about that as a parent, getting a $300 check every month for your child as a stimulus check, multiple stimulus checks. But how about the single individual? They should be getting that earned income tax credit, $1,500 in the month of July as well. They should have to wait till next year. And then we have questions about other things that could be prepaid that aren't being prepaid across the board. Ultimately, viewers should be excited about the fact that there's a stimulus check in there, that there's multiple stimulus checks in there for parents, and that there's the renewed optimism of $600 a week for FPC. It's all great news. But the question is, why is it not going bigger and even bolder than that? The big market is waiting to see how big the package is going to be. It's going to be important. They could do it through reconciliation, says Quincy Rosby. But there are concerns that people are talking about going smaller and distractions as well. The distractions next week, the head of Robinhood will be testifying on Capitol Hill. Again, another distraction. And then there's talk about Treasury yields. While the Federal Reserve has already said they're not going to change Treasury yields. If you think the big drivers are related, they are vaccine, stimulus, and inflation. Inflation's not the concern. So when are we going to see this actual stimulus check? What day you can actually get it? What about the SSI and SSDI? How about the hazard pay? How about all these things? Well, here's where you sit. The bill will be landing in the Senate on February 22nd. The vote for the bill will happen right before February 22nd. While we have sections of the bill for members of this channel delineated in PDFs, the full bill in its total complex will be delivered from me to you as viewers of this channel as soon as it's introduced to the House floor for a vote. That introduction of the bill could come as early as Monday or Tuesday. Then we'll know all the provisions of the bill, what works and what doesn't work. When it lands in the Senate, It's open field day to make the modifications. This is huge news. You need to be ready to pounce in the Senate and pounce before the bill even starts, because ultimately, if the multiple stimulus checks should be paid to other people as well, get that narrative out. The $1,500 earned income tax credit for single individuals, that should be paid as well. The stimulus check of $1,400 should be on top of a $2,000 stimulus check, and get that narrative out as well. And the FPUC of $600 a week should be done exactly as Wyden said, and also should be retroactive as well. Finally, it doesn't cost too much to put $200 a month for SSI and SSDI on the bill. Get that narrative out as well. Whether it's Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, or Cardin for business stimulus like the EIDL grant, or Sanders or Harris, or Warren or Schumer for things like stimulus check and FPUC, or whether it's anyone else for all these discussions, tag the senators, share these videos, make sure you subscribe, because this is the channel that's making the difference and making sure you get the big money across the board. Coming up next is third stimulus check and third stimulus package, and then after that I'm back live with you with What the Chuck, answering all your questions about unemployment and more. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.